Hello, welcome to a very festive edition of the Hotline Live with Record Sport. I'm joined by the one and only Keith Jackson. Keith, I see you've got your festive settings on the fire behind you.
Christmas, yep, I've got the Christmas setting on. I was actually going to get a mince pie and a big Baileys, but I thought better not. I thought better of it, Dan. I'll do that later.
I'll probably join you with that as well. It's best though we keep a clear head because it's been a massive day in the Premiership. And I think the best place for us to start, Keith, is Tynecastle.
Yeah.
You tipped Hearts to beat Rangers. You said you'd be astonished if Rangers won, and as it turned out, you were pretty spot on.
It's not for no reason, Dan. Hearts are a better side. The table shows you that, but also individually, all over the pitch, they've got better players. And by the way, that was without a key contributor today in Craig Halkett, who's been
good point.
An absolute rock in the centre of defence for them. I actually thought when I saw that, could create a problem for Hearts. It didn't. I thought Rangers started the game quite well. I thought for 20 minutes it was probably as good as I've seen a Rangers side under Danny Rowe. And had they got that first goal that Miovski sort of smuggles over the line, if he doesn't touch it, it's probably going to go in. Maybe you're looking at a different game. But I felt that VAR intervention sort of amplified the whole occasion, didn't it? And it got the Hearts fans that were a wee bit nervous, maybe some of the Hearts players that were struggling to get up to speed in the game. And from that moment on, they didn't look back. I look at Cammy Devlin, who I've already said is, for me, the best player in Scotland this season so far. He would be, if we were voting for Player of the Year, at this point, he wins it out the park for me.
He was brilliant today again.
Sensational again. He absolutely bossed the midfield. Magnuson playing next to him is good foil. So I thought they won the midfield. And then, as I said on Thursday there, Dan, when you've got Shankland and Braga, two top scorers in the league, they're miles in front of anything Rangers have got. And Shankland, great finish for his goal to put Hearts 2-0 up. Although what Jack Butland's doing at his near post, I've no idea.
Oh, that was a terrible one from Butland.
His positioning's all wrong. He's got to cover that near post. But I just felt, yes, Rangers had spells in the second half when Hearts were defending a bit more deep. But had Hearts scored another couple of goals, I don't think anybody could have complained today. They're just a better side. I think they've got a better, more experienced manager. And I'm really fascinated now to see what they do in the January sales, because I would anticipate that Derek McInnes will be desperate to get another couple in the door, maybe a right back. There'll be a couple of positions that they'll try to strengthen. Tony Bloom will throw the kitchen sink at it. And for me, as I said on Thursday, I said if Hearts win, and I expected that they would win this game, then for me they go into the second half of the season now and into the new year as the favourites to win this title. I know that Celtic, obviously later in the day, we'll get round to the Celtic game, Dan. A big relief for Wilfred Nancy to get a win, and it looked for a moment or two as if that might not happen, even though Celtic and Ayr, he's doing the Ministry of Funny Walks at this point here. We saw Philip Clement resort to that on a couple of occasions. But no, I'm actually pleased for Wilfred Nancy. I said to you, I genuinely, fundamentally think he's a decent, nice guy, and I felt as if the sky was folding in on him for the first couple of weeks there. So that's good. It cuts him a little bit of slack. I wonder, I think there were some Celtic fans going into the game that actually might have wanted Celtic to drop more points today, to accelerate the decision on Wilfred Nancy, but from all accounts, and I was running about doing a bit of Christmas stuff, but from all accounts, Celtic were really impressive today in terms of going forward and playing the game the way that he wants it played. So I wonder, I'd like to see what the reaction is from Celtic fans. We will come round to it later, but now that they've seen it in the flesh, it looked good. Celtic should have won that game by 4, 5, 6 goals by all accounts. So maybe that's just bought them a little bit of time, a bit of breathing space. But as for Rangers, I look, it's still the same old failings. And I have to say, some of the substitutions that Danny Rowe makes, I find baffling. Obviously, at half time, he switched the team around a little bit. He put Tavernier into midfield, took off Diamondi. Struggled with that one. And if for no other reason, he then takes Tavernier out the midway through the second half, takes him off, but he leaves on Max Aarons. And I don't want to pick on Max Aarons because I feel as if I have done throughout since I first clapped eyes on him in a Rangers shirt. He is just miles and miles and miles off it.
Yeah.
And I thought that again today he was dreadful. So I didn't understand the decision to take off Tavernier, put Tavernier into midfield in the first instance, and then hook him and leave Max Aarons on.
Say what you want about Tavernier, he can get you a goal, or he can set up.
Whether it's free kicks or corners, set piece deliveries, then had Conor Barn taking corners.
Aye.
Some of it I find mystifying, but I'll come back to it. I think Hearts have got a better manager, a more experienced manager. It feels to me as if Derek McInnes was made for this moment, for this season, this particular absolute madhouse of a season that we've had so far. Derek McInnes has just been keeping Hearts rolling along. Yes, there was a little wobble. If he didn't have that little wobble, by the way, how far clear would they be by now?
No.
But to record back-to-back victories against both Celtic and Rangers, home and away, the first half of the season, this isn't an accident. This shouldn't surprise anybody now. They are the best team in the country, and they're the most consistent team in the country, and they're the strongest team in the country. And that's why I think what happens in January is going to be so interesting. That's a 12-point gap that they've opened up now over Rangers, albeit Rangers have a game in hand. I told you, Dan, a week or so ago when people were getting excited and saying Rangers are in the title race, I said they weren't. And that's why I don't think it's feasible. Unless Danny Rowe has a couple of major rabbits up his sleeve for the transfer window, I don't see Rangers getting involved now in the second part of the season.
No. Well,
in fact, Dan, you look at Motherwell going to Ibrox on Saturday.
Yep, big game.
Motherwell are sitting on top of Rangers just now in third place, Rangers in fourth. I think Rangers have got a game in hand. But if Motherwell were to win at Ibrox, and that's far from impossible, they would go 4 points clear of Rangers in third place. And I think that's what the season ahead looks like for Rangers, just trying to stay relevant, trying to stay as close to the top as they can stay. But they're just nowhere near good enough. And it was, perfectly showcased again this afternoon.
Well, neither of us were actually had the pleasure of being at Tynecastle for the game today, but one man who was Record Sports' Scott McDermott. I caught up with Scott a little bit earlier on. Shall we hear what he had to say?
Yes, please.
Why not?
Poor result for Rangers, but a big statement of intent from Hearts.
Undoubtedly, Daniel, big blow for Rangers in terms of the kind of faint title hopes that they still had. But for Hearts, massive statement of intent. 4 games against the Old Firm this season, won every one of them, beat them both home and away. 12 points clear now, Rangers, in the league table. And if you were in this stadium the day, you just felt it. These fans genuinely believe now that they can make history and go and win a title, which would be absolutely incredible. I've just said in my kind of match report there that Tony Bloom was at back August the 4th, I think he said, "No, I'll be disappointed if we don't win the title within 10 years." And here we are now, I think it's 140 days later. I make them favourites for the title now, which is absolutely unbelievable. But Derek McInnes has got something special going on here, and this performance and result just rubber stamp it.
Well, I don't want to make too big a deal of this, Scott, because we've talked about it a few times in the hotline. But when you see Lawrence Shankland scoring that goal, and I know Jack Butland could have done a lot better, but it just hammers home when he was available in a free transfer. An absolute no-brainer.
Of course it does. How many times have I spoken about it on here, Daniel? When the top striker in Scotland is available in the summer on a free transfer, and 29 years old, guaranteed goals in the Scottish Premiership. It's inexplicable that Rangers at that time, knowing his Lawrence Shankland's kind of allegiances, and the fact that he was without a club over the summer. It's inexplicable that Rangers at that time, though, Russell Martin, Kevin Thelwell, the recruitment team, didn't go and snap him up. I mean, it was the biggest no-brainer in football that I can think of, and yet they ignored them and decided to go down a different road, decided to chase Yusuf Shamiti, who obviously scored a consolation goal at the death here, paid £8 million, paid around 3-4 million for Bojan Majowski. But no, Shanklin should have been snapped up. Derek McInnes made it his priority when he came in as Hearts manager to get Lawrence Shanklin signed up again, and no, he's been proved right in that sense. I think that's 12 goals now for Shanklin. He's this side's talisman, he's their captain. That finish today, as you say, it's a Butland. No, Butland will look back on it as a big error from him. He makes a messy trying to save it, but from that angle, that acute angle, Lawrence Shanklin did no right to even get an effort away on goal. It looked as if he was going to try and fire it back across the 6-yard box, but to get such power, such accuracy, it just shows you the quality he's got. And he's already scored at Ibrox as well this season. I say 12 for the campaign. If I was Danny Rowe, I would be looking at Lawrence Shanklin and thinking, well, this guy was available in a free and we didn't go and get him, and he's a Rangers fan. Why not? It just doesn't make any sense.
Where does this leave Danny Rowe then, Scott? I mean, I thought Rangers started really well. They obviously had a goal disallowed, could have been ahead, and it's only his first league defeat, of course, in 9. But was it a wee bit of a wake-up call for him in terms of the things that the squad's lacking still?
I don't think it's a wake-up call, Daniel, because I think the same things keep on happening. I think he knows the issues. He cut a frustrated figure there after the game, because you're right. I thought for the first 35 minutes, Rangers were actually really good in the game, honestly. Coming to an occasion like this at Tynecastle, Rangers were always going to need to try and get themselves through that first 15, 20 minutes. They were always going to need to be solid, compact, win setting balls, be aggressive, know that Hearts settle, and at the same time be a threat at the other end. And I thought for 35 minutes, Rangers done that. They thought they were ahead after 10 minutes with a brilliantly worked corner. And Majowski obviously drifts just offside, which is a big blow to them, because if that goal goes in after 10 minutes, I do think it changes the kind of complexion of the game.
I agree.
Even after that, Raskin has a brilliant chance for a set piece, Tavernier free kick, but he heads wide. Like Mikey Moore had a nice kind of run and shot that the keeper saved. I thought for 35 minutes at a venue like this, in a game of this magnitude, Rangers were absolutely fine. But as always, it feels with this team, they shoot themselves in the foot, and they have 4 minutes of madness where the mentality's not there, they lose concentration, they forget what they're trying to do in the game, they forget what they've done for the previous half hour, and they're the architects of their own downfall. For the first goal, Jack Butland, he's so loose, so slack with a pass out to the back. I think he's trying to find Tavernier. It's too easily cut out. Rangers concede a cheap corner. We know Hearts are dangerous with set pieces. I think that's 13 goals they've scored this season for set pieces. Why Rangers have only got Jaden Magoma out at the corner when Hearts take it short, I don't know. He's left a bit exposed. It's a brilliant cross from Kizaridis and header for Stuart Finlay. Again, it looks like he's 1-on-1 with Conor Barron, which is a mismatch in the box, but his header's unstoppable in the top corner. But at that moment, and this is what I keep saying about this Rangers team, when they suffer a setback, the mentality goes, the head goes for 5-10 minutes. And from a 35-minute period where they look solid, compact, and as if they wouldn't concede, by half time they could have been 3-0 down because of this kind of period of chaos. They didn't react well to going a goal down, and then obviously Shanklin's finish. It's a really good finish, but it's a big mistake for Jack Butland. He's got to do better at his near post. He gets caught. He's deceived by the shot, I think, and he can't move his legs quick enough. Can't move his feet quick enough to keep it out. So it was a disastrous spell, really, for Butland and for Rangers just before half time. I say Hearts tails are up. They could have got another. And then again, the reaction I thought in the second half wasn't good enough for Rangers. Hearts could have scored another couple. Shankland actually misses a couple of really good chances before Shamiti scores with the last kick of the ball to make it 2-1. But no, I don't think it'll be a reality check for Danny Rowe. I think he's well aware of the issues and the problems. I think he'll be desperate to get to January, try and get a couple of players in, try and put some things right. But it won't stop him being majorly frustrated today at the fact that his team, after half an hour, I thought were in a really good place in the game. And even if it gets to 0-0 at half time, I think Rangers and Danny Rowe would have been in happier.
No.
But to concede so cheaply, it's pretty much been the story of the season. As I say, Danny Rowe's actually tightened them up in the last few weeks, but they're still prone to these real bad individual errors and short bursts in games where they lose their heads. It was similar to Ferencvaros.
Aye, you're right.
In Europe, doing okay, and then moment of madness before half time, concede a really cheap goal. Then you think about the defending for the other goal for Tavernier and Fernandez. This lack of concentration, these lapses in games is really costing them. And I suppose the only way you fix that is obviously you keep working on it, but better quality of players coming in, and they'll obviously try and improve that in January.
Scott, it is always a pleasure having you in the Hotline Live. Thank you so much for joining us from Tynecastle. Safe travels up the road.
Cheers, Daniel.
We're getting a big reaction, Keith, to the Hearts Rangers game. But before we come to that, we're joined live from Celtic Park by the one and only Michael Gannon. Mick, sorry to keep you waiting there.
No worries, evening chaps, how are we?
Aye, good, mate.
How are you?
Aye, a pretty wild afternoon here, wasn't it? At Celtic Park, it was a pretty kind of thrilling game. Big finale at the end with 2 late goals. Nothing's ever straightforward, is it? It's never a 3-0 at half time, but feet up, early intros and all that stuff. It was like a hokey-cokey afternoon. At one point, I thought it looked like when it goes to 1 each, it was so ridiculous. I mean, Celtic were so dominant, had so many chances, had hit the woodwork 3 times by that point. Aberdeen got the park and score 1 each, and you think the manager's doomed. I mean, it's just that he's not. I mean, the guy is not going to get a break. This is just not going to work for him. I mean, it was remarkable. Really, I mean, really was remarkable. But they dug it out and got the result, fully deserved in the end. And I actually think there was signs today that of real positivity with Celtic's performance. I mean, listen, I've never seen a team crying out for a striker more than Celtic right now. I mean, I heard Scott talking about Lawrence Shankland to Rangers. Celtic should go and get Lawrence Shankland. Honestly, it would be a 35-goal season from here on in with Celtic. Crying out for a striker. I mean, by half time the game should have been done and dusted. Feet up, back up the road, get the selection box out and watch Escape to Victory. It was done and it should have been done and dusted. I mean, Celtic are not just missing chances. I mean, they're missing absolute sitters. I mean, ridiculous the chances they missed in the first half. I mean, Johnny Kenny,
like Tannadice all over again, mate.
Johnny Kenny had one. It was a carbon copy of the one right in front of goal. He had one of those ones. Dyson made one of the goals open in front of him and he shanked it wide. Just a ridiculous amount of gilt-edged chances. Balls getting fired over the bar when it dropped into people's feet 10 yards from goal, and it was just ridiculous. And but so they get the breakthrough. A really nice opening goal. I mean, Maida breaks through, cuts it back for Nygren. And it was a big kind of weight off them at that point. Then the red card comes right before half time. Dylan Lubin gets red card. I mean, Stonewall red card.
Yeah.
His goalkeeper, Mitov, put him in trouble. Pulls back Maida. It's a red card every day of the week. In fairness, Mitov redeemed himself and then some. He had 3 or 4 unbelievable saves.
I thought he was incredible, Mick, today, Mitov.
He one in particular from Luke McCown. It was, honestly, I'd been proud of that one. I mean, I might have held it right enough, but I'd have been proud of that one. So he's having a world day of a game. They started hitting post. They don't hit the post and bar 5 times in 90 minutes. I think they had 31 shots on goal and scored with number 30 and number 31. I think it was or 29-30 or something like that to win the game. It could have been 6 or 7 easily. Aberdeen, I thought, were disappointing. I mean, that's what Celtic team is vulnerable. when you attack them. And I thought they sat back the first half. They were time waste from the start, and it was really negative kind of a game plan that seemed to lack belief. Almost try to kind of see it out. I mean, I know it worked for them in the cup final, something similar, but it just seemed to be that this wasn't the Celtic of May. It's not even the Celtic of August. This is the Celtic of December, who have been really vulnerable. I thought they were there for the taking, and yet they invited the pressure. And it was good. I mean, I thought Celtic played really well today. I mean, you got to hand it to them. I thought that the football was really good. Seeing signs of the formation changes starting to kind of stick. With the caveat being, I still think they're vulnerable on the counter. I always, even at 1 each and at 1-0, Celtic always look 2 passes away from being opened up, and that's still a concern. And I think more streetwise teams, as we've seen in the last week, might cause more problems. But in terms of the manager, much needed that today. And I think the performance was enough that it might give him a bit of breathing space, and people might take a step back and go, okay, we can see what you're trying to do. That was quite good.
Did you feel that in the stadium, Mick, today? Did you feel it?
Do you know what? Very much so. At 1 each, I would if you said to me before the game it's going to go 1 each, they're going to dominate and go 1 each, I thought the place will turn and it'll be toxic. And you know, it wasn't. Listen, we still had the odd anti-board kind of chance here and there, not a lot. But the crowd stuck with them right to the end, and even right before they got the goals, I thought that the crowd were on board, and I felt as though that he did get a bit more leeway. And I think people were seeing probably arguably the best attacking performance of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of fans who are certainly the ones that are more knowledgeable, are knowing that with a bit of quality in this team, this game's done. Do you know what I mean? This game is well out of sight. And again, you can see the same against Tynecastle midweek as well. That game can be done at half time as well. So I think maybe people are starting to think, okay, listen, I think that there's definitely been a bumpy start. That's an understatement of the year. But maybe there's signs that this might work. I don't know. It might be the case that in certain games, Celtic are going to be, once they get all these pieces in place, they're going to clatter teams and be swashbuckling and all the rest of it. I still worry about the other side of things defensively.
Mike, here's the thing, right? I noticed a sort of a tweak at Tannadice where Maida, the system was manoeuvred to let him get out onto the wings where he'd been playing in the League Cup final as a sort of number 10. And I thought that was a good tweak, and I thought it worked. And I thought it made sense to me because I'm not sure that I see sense in having your right-sided centre-half or your left-sided centre-half being the guy in possession 40, 50 yards up the pitch in the wide areas and in the areas of the pitch that really matter in terms of creativity. How was that today? Was it the same again?
Yeah. I noticed a little bit difference. What I noticed was I get the ball quicker out in the middle of the park, and guys like Luke McCown and Callum McGregor and Benjamin Negan. I thought Negan actually had a really good game as well. But when McCown was in there, busy passing the ball and getting around corners and all that stuff, and they were the ones dictating the play rather than the two centre halves. Kieran Tierney was getting forward, but not quite as much as we've seen in previous games. So it looked a wee bit more disciplined, a bit more structured today. This is probably the first time. I mean, Wilfred Donaldson had the old tactic borders back out today, and a couple of times it was used for a few of the players, but not as much as as I've seen in previous time. The Hearts game the other week. It just looked as though it looked like a team that had a bit more comfort in the system this time. They did seem more comfortable with it. Whether or not that is because Aberdeen had a similar kind of setup, except in a more defensive style. They had a back five. It would be a 3-4-3, but it went to a back five, more a 4-5-1. So it might have invited Celtic onto them, and it matched up better for them. So it looked more structured because it was almost man for man. Instead of getting the better of their men. So I think it played it in their hands. Like I say, a more streetwise team in Scotland will probably change that and make it more awkward for Celtic. So you can't go over the top and say that Wilfred Nonsen's cracked it and it's all going to be plain sailing from now on. I don't think that's the case. But I definitely did see more structure, more discipline, more organisation, and more kind of comfort in the system. And the football was better. It's still the same problems that they've had all season, the glaring lack of quality in the final third.
Yeah.
But that's not on the manager. That's on the recruitment department to deliver. And if he gets that, then you might see more consistency. But it's a step in the right direction for the manager. Who was, listen, if he lost today, I'm not entirely sure he could have survived it. That's how bad it had been a start. I just think there were aspects of the game today that might make people take a step back and think, okay, there is something there. Let's give the guy a bit of breathing space.
Mm-hmm.
But we know fine well that they don't get a result against Livingston and they go down to Motherwell, it's back to square one again.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the first steps in the right direction, I think, for him.
That's the thing, though, Mike, isn't it? Sorry, Dan, but he's got to go to Livingston. Livingston away are two of the most horrible words in Scottish football. Does he go there and play one centre half? Because see, if he does that, we could be back in this kind of batter Wilfred over the head with a big baseball bat moment again. If he goes there, plays one centre half and Livingston bully them.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? If you lose 4 games in the bounce, it hadn't happened in my lifetime for Celtic. It was in 1978, so I wasn't even born. For at least another 10 years. So that means he's in this kind of situation where the next bump knocks him back to the start again. It's snakes and ladders time. So he is going to have to build up a serious body of work over a longer period of time. And there's a Rangers game around the corner as well, which could be a basketball match, the way it's going, if he needs to. So yeah, it's as I say, a tentative step in the right direction for him, a much needed victory for him and performance. That might give him a bit of wriggle room. But Livingston away is a test because it is. I mean, I thought I was surprised at Tynecastle with only playing one centre half against the team with the second best set piece record in the league behind Hearts. Yeah. I thought that, and then they lose 2 goals from second phase from corner kicks. I did notice some changes today at corner kicks defensively. It looked like a return to kind of more zonal. Not want to go all hipster on you boys, but it did look more zonal than man for man. But then again, Aberdeen were lacking in quality and belief anyway. So that again kind of put it in our hands. Thought I got some trust at the back. Had a really good game. I thought he mopped up quite. I thought he mopped up pretty well. But Livingston will launch it into the box. They'll take long throws and get set pieces. So it's a big test. It's another very Scottish test for the manager. He's got to try and pass, having had the 2 toughest Scottish tests in Hearts and St Mirren, and then arguably Dundee United as well. But he's now got another a real tough one. And then Motherwell, who are absolutely flying, aren't they? Yeah. So it's not going to get any easier, but it gives him a bit of breathing space. That's for sure. He can maybe enjoy his Christmas turkey and still be a job, because that wasn't going to guarantee this weekend, was it?
It could be a Christmas Mackie D's.
Well, that may be the Gannon household, given much I've spent in the last few weeks.
Just before we let you go up the road, Mick, there's a couple of comments that I want to throw your way, if that's okay. Michael Burke says, "This is what I wait for, the legend Mick Gannon." I don't know if he's a relation, Mick, but,
dear.
I think that's just leg end.
I can't afford to pay the bung, mate. I'm sorry.
But no, you're right, Mick, in saying that Celtic fans are certainly getting a bit more confident. I think Mickey Finn says, not getting carried away here, but Wilfred Nancy will lead Celtic to the Champions League title next season. I don't know about it whatsoever.
Oh, it's the Christmas party season in full swing, isn't it?
Eddie says, Celtic get a good striking in January. We'll walk the league in a canter with chances we're making. He also echoes your sentiment, go and get Shankland in January.
Hearts would sell.
Listen, they couldn't. But listen, I mean, Celtic have the financial clout to go and make it someone offer they can't refuse. But could you imagine how to weaken your rival and strengthen your team? It's not going to happen, right? Obviously, it's not going to happen. But I'm only kind of semi-joking. I mean, Shankland today. I mean, sitting with 2 match balls up his Duke.
No, exactly, I know. And this one as well from Rebel says, best I've seen Celtic play since Feyenoord and miles better than what Rodgers served up. 3-1 going on 8-1, and I'm being conservative. See, for anyone that didn't see the game, Mick, I mean, I watched it. I can't hammer home how much it could have easily been 10 or 11. It was a bizarre game.
Genuinely one of the most bizarre games I've seen for a while. An absolute pummeling Aberdeen took today. I mean, even Jimmy Tillini after the game was like, yeah, we come back, showed a bit of spirit, hung in the game, but we're a wee bit lucky, and it's a fair result in the end. I mean, he that his team get an absolute chasing. Interestingly, he said that he was disappointed how they started in terms of being so defensive. But I'm looking at the setup, and I thought I looked at the defensive setup right from the kickoff. Aberdeen were literally wasting time from the first 5 minutes. The goal kicks, and at one point, one player went down. I think Meetup went down injured, and the whole team went across to this bench for a chat with the manager.
That's right,
and it was like a corner kick, and there's not a single Aberdeen player in the box. You're kind of thinking, Celtic should have hit that corner, just played it. I mean, but the referee let him come back on the park, and I was thinking, but it took another 30 seconds to organise, and it was like that kind of thing all day. So they were using the kind of hand-in game plan that worked so well for them. And they nearly pulled it off. But unlike Handon, I thought they nullified Celtic at Handon and didn't really have too many moments of panic. Whereas here, it was panic non-stop. I mean, there was a spell in the second half, it was preposterous. People were laughing. I mean, the balls hitting the post and hitting folk, and the goalie's pulling off. I mean, it was just absolutely preposterous how it was only at that point 1-0. Could have been 7 or 8 easily. And that's why I'm saying Nancy will get a bit of respite, because people were left the ground today having been miserable all season and probably went, you know what, that was actually quite an enjoyable afternoon for once, Mick, even though they had that fraught 10 minutes.
Mick, how was Nancy after? Because I heard him interviewed on the radio. I felt he sounded a bit flat. I don't know if he was just emotionally exhausted, because when that went to 1 each, as you said, it's caving in on him again. But was he a little bit flatter than he has been after the game?
Do you know what? I don't know how he was in terms of on the radio, but he came into the press room with us, and I thought he was in good form.
Right.
I thought pre-match he looked a wee bit haunted, and a lot of a guy who'd been, listen, understandably so. I mean, he's up against it. I mean, people calling for his job after 4 games. But I thought he was in good form. And I kind of said to him, I was like, he says, when it goes to 1 each after having 25 shots on goal, it goes to 1 each. Are you starting to think this rain is a bit cursed? I mean, I know it's not really a very technical hipster question about formations and tactics, but you know what I mean? Because it's like, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And he said to his, listen, I don't believe in luck. He says, but I've had absolutely none whatsoever since I got in the door. And he was kind of laughing about it. And he was right. He has had a bit. I mean, I think he's made mistakes, right? And I think I've said in the show before that I think he might have kind of misjudged Scottish football a wee bit and opposition and his own quality of players. He's a crash course, very much so. But he has had a bit of bad luck as well. I mean, has been some misfortune. So I think he's right, and he did seem a bit more upbeat. Again, I'm asking, the thing I think is crucial is recruitment. I think that is going to be so crucial, and he didn't really bite on it. I tried to ask him about, listen, you now know what you've got, what you need. Where are you in terms of signings? Where are you? How far along are you with signings? What do you need? What do you expect? And he kind of was like, "Oh, I'm still assessing the players." And he as usual, managers they don't reveal too much for that kind of stuff. But I think that's going to be key, because Celtic need firepower in the door and sharpish.
Yeah.
And that today underlined it with a big bold pen, because there is maybe a semblance of a style and a way of playing, and it could be quite exciting. But they need some players that can put the ball in the back of the net. Otherwise, it's pointless, because they'll get picked off. So it's crucial, absolutely crucial.
Very, very briefly before we let you go, Mick, we need to, a lot of people in the comments, Mark saying James Forrest scores 17 seasons in a row now. I mean, that is absolutely remarkable. And the other thing that I want to get your take on, given Hearts got a big win today, where do you stand? Do you make Celtic favourites for the title or Hearts favourites? What do you think?
I think you've got to say Hearts are in the box seat. They're not going to. They beat the Rangers and Celtic twice each now. Yeah. So at the moment, I think you've got to say Hearts in the box seat. But Celtic have got an advantage over Hearts and everyone else, that they've got the resources to go and do something about this. So it's in their power, Celtic's power, to change that round. I mean, they're a game in hand as well. This current Celtic squad isn't winning the league. It's not. In fact, I wouldn't even write Rangers off quite yet either. I know people are saying that it's just kind of killed them off for good. I wouldn't say so just quite yet. I think there's more twists and turns. Hearts, I think, are a good side. In fact, they're a cracking side, and they've had a brilliant run. But if they lose 2 or 3 players to injury, they might have a sticky spell again. I think there's points to be spilled all over the place. I said it before, I think this is an 85-point season. But in terms of Celtic, they've got the power to go and sign 3 or 4 players that can change things round for them, and they could reel off 10 wins in a row. That puts them back in the frame. It makes them hard to beat.
Getting a lot of comments here, Mick, from Celtic fans suggesting there might be something cooking with Kyogo. Maybe Yang going to Birmingham, Kyogo coming back up the road. You hearing anything along those lines?
There's been a bit of murmurs about for a few weeks, hasn't it? Because he's not performed well at Birmingham.
No, he's not having a good time.
He was an unused sub yesterday as they get beat 3-0.
Yeah, I've seen him. He missed a few chances. He's not really got any confidence. It's not really happening for him. So I think, listen, it might be a case of there is suggestions that he might be allowed to go on loan, which puts Celtic in the equation, because I'm no doubt that'll be an offer to Celtic. Would they come back? Who knows? He's not a good 12 months really since kind of leaving. He didn't do well in France and hasn't done well in Birmingham. Would he be coming back to familiar surroundings? Revitalise him, perhaps. I just think it could be a short-term option. But Celtic, they've had a year to scout strikers.
I know.
So that's a team. Last January they sold Kyogo, wasn't replaced. They tried to get another striker in January, failed. Went through the whole summer trying to get a striker and failed. Sold another one, which was, mind blowing. And then bring in a guy who's semi-fit after the deadline, who has proved to be unreliable, because we knew that was going to be the case. So they've had 12 months to source strikers. You would think that the recruitment department have got 1 or 2 strikers lined up for this January. If they don't, then it's heads roll time. It has to be. You've had 12 months. It's not as if it's happened overnight. So if you go and get Kyogo on loan at the end of January, because that's when loan deals happen, right? It's not at the start of January, very rarely, unless they're desperate to get him out the door. But they'll try and sell him first, then they'll maybe loan him. So, but if they end up with Kyogo on loan, I'm sure people would welcome back with open arms, and I'm sure he could probably do a job. But it's pretty much admitting that you failed to do the job for 12 months.
Yeah.
You can't tell me, because the whole globe, that the only person you can go and get is a guy who just left 2 months ago.
I was going to say, David in the comments saying, so we're replacing Kyogo with Kyogo.
Exactly. You might as well just admit that the recruitment department has completely and utterly failed. Yeah. If you have to go back to the guy that left 2 months ago, that you never replaced in 2 windows.
But I do think that's pretty much been established anyway, Mick.
Well, it is. It's desperation stakes. It's a year older as well, Kyogo. I don't think he was great in his last 6 months at Celtic either. I don't think he was. He
was on the wane, wasn't he?
A wee bit. I think, as usual in Glasgow, the criticism was a wee bit harsh at times, but I think he was showing signs that his powers were on the wane. Listen, if Celtic go out and buy a striker in January, or a really, really good loan deal early in the window, and then Kyogo comes up as an option later on, then think, take it, go and get him. And it can only add to what they've got. But if that's what you're relying on, then honestly, what is the point in having a recruitment department? It's basically admitting they don't know what they're doing in that area. So it's a tricky one, isn't it? But go and start down £5 million and go and get Lauren Shanklin. That's an easy one to along with, mate.
Mick, I think that's the perfect note for us to let you go on. Thank you so much for joining us on the Hotline Live. Safe travels up the road.
No worries, chaps. Catch you later on.
Merry Christmas.
Have a good Christmas, mate.
This is our last show before Christmas, so have a good one.
Oh, it's the last late shift before Christmas. Well, happy Christmas to everyone when it comes. Hope you all enjoy your Christmas dinner. I know I certainly will.
Merry Christmas, Mick. Have a good one, and we'll see you soon.
Catch you later.
Cheers, Mick. Michael Gannon there, Keith. I do. It's good when Mick's on, isn't it? Mick is a star.
By the way, we've rolled out all the big guns tonight, haven't we, for our Christmas special? Scotty, Mick, it's all happening.
It's been an all-star affair. Time's almost up though, but before I let you go, people debating in the comments, Keith, about the title. Who's the favourite now? The last bowler says, Keith, hopes to win the league. Hearts will fold. Albert Kidd again, 1986, now 2026. Celtic 1961 says, we'll see you in May with the titles in the bag. Celtic fans, obviously, newfound confidence today. However, in the name of the wee man, says Hearts are going all the way this season. Both Rangers and Celtic aren't consistent enough. Where do you stand now, Keith?
They don't have the quality. I'll just come back to one thing, and it's something that Walter Smith used to say. Good players win football games. And Hearts have got more good players than Celtic have right now, maybe, but certainly Rangers. And you saw that evidence today. I just think there is something happening at Hearts. I am now starting to believe, that the whole Leicester City fairy tale is now got a really big chance of happening in our backyard. And it's, as I said earlier, it's not happening by accident. That's the 4 wins against Celtic twice and Rangers twice tells you that. So for me, I've kind of switched horses because it was only a couple of weeks ago I was kind of adamant that Celtic were still the favourites for this title. I just think that this latest set of results, this raft of results, the fact that Wilfred Nancy, he's had a good day today, but he could have a bad day. Because I think you said yourself, Daniel, that the failings are still there. The fear that they could get bullied physically at the back, that they're wide open. So I think there's some growing pain possibly still to come with Wilfred Nancy as he settles in. I hope he does well, but I think you can't make changes on this scale and there not be accidents along the way. Yeah. And I just think that Hearts have settled back into a stride. They've had a wobble, and for me, they go into the second part of this season as favourites, and that's an incredible thing to say in itself. And then the question is, how do they handle that? Because when they did get out in front, they wobbled. It was almost as if they got a bit of, I don't know, not stage fright, but I think they struggled with the fact that they were looking down on all the rest from such a height. They wobbled. So that's happened. Does it happen again in the new year? Who knows? And of course, they've got the Edinburgh Derby coming up as well. And Hibs will be desperate to try and knock the wind out their sails. So, really fascinating. But as things stand just now, and I, by the way, reserve the right to change my mind again in a couple of weeks. but as things stand right now, after that performance and result today from Hearts, they're building steam again, building momentum at a crucial point.
And you can see there on the screen the fixtures on the 27th. Obviously, the Edinburgh Derby, as you say, but Rangers Motherwell. That's an intriguing game as well because Motherwell are a point ahead of Rangers as we sit here now. Rangers now 12 points behind Hearts and 4.
And by the way, I'll go further on that. Motherwell for me have been aesthetically the best side to watch. The football's been terrific this season.
Absolutely.
And I think they'll go to Ibrox. And I really believe that they'll fancy their chances of taking 3 points there. Yeah, and I wouldn't bet against it.
No, me neither. Keith, I think that brings us to the end of tonight's Hotline Live with Record Sport. John in the comments says, "Thank guys for a great show 5 days a week. Merry Christmas all." Thanks, John. And thank you very much to everyone that sent in the comments, not just today, but throughout 2025. We will be back on the 28th of December, Keith. Pour over all of those results on the 27th. Mm-hmm. But I guess for now, for everyone watching, Merry Christmas and hope you have a good one with friends and family. Yeah, Merry Christmas and we'll see you on the other side. Aye. Merry Christmas to you as well, Keith. Thank you, Dan, and to you, mate, and all our viewers. And thank you so much because, do you know what? The comments and all that, we've said it before, Dan, it's not blowing smoke up anybody's backside, but the comments make it. This is show for the people back there, and they've been really supportive, and we can't thank them enough. So I hope everybody has a brilliant Christmas and enjoys the festivities, and we'll be back again next Sunday. Without the comments, we wouldn't exist, absolutely. Merry Christmas. Hope you have a good one, and as Keith says, we'll be back on Sunday at 6 p.m. Hope you can join us then.